Morning, everybody. My name is Andrew Butcher. I'm the Director of Innovation and Resilience for GPCOG. Very pleased to be joined today by Amy Gromes-Pulowski, who's been our stalwart guide in setting up and streamlining these programs. And also joined today by Tori Pelletier and Tom Bell at GPCOG. Thanks so much for those of you joining us. We've got an excellent showing for today's program overview. I'm going to walk through our agenda real quick. We've got the next 4 hours set aside for all of us to sit here listening to us walk through the range of GPCOG programming. I am, of course, kidding. We will have some time built in today for Q&A. But it's an exciting time of some new program development and new resources that we're excited to share with our networks and with the audience, and some new application materials. I do want to get started, and I'm just going to give a quick overview of some of our loan programs and provide some basic high-level explanations. And I'm going to hand to Amy after that point to walk through some details with two of the programs in particular. So for those of you joining us, maybe you've taken a look at GPCOG's website with our updated loan programs. Today is a very exciting time where we're excited to launch a new partnership with Cumberland County, in which we're launching a new job program and a microenterprise lending program. We'll speak more about those in just a quick minute. So for all intents and purposes, if your primary purpose today, Amy, feel free to advance. If your primary purpose today is just to hear about funds and financing that are available, the very short answer for you is that all questions can be essentially answered on the website, and the fastest answer is if you're interested in pursuing funding to complete a loan application. There is a centralized singular loan application now where all information can be input in a quick and easy way, and will allow for us as a team to sort and identify the best fit of program for you. So if that's all you want to take away, then that's the very short answer for you. However, our goal is also to share that there are really 4 distinct programs that folks may be eligible. And I do want to just clarify that the 2 programs that are highlighted here, the revolving loan program and the rapid response microloan program, are existing programs that GPCOG has been running for several months. If you are in need of some larger capital for larger scale projects, the revolving loan program represents essentially an opportunity to identify some working capital at favorable rates. These are larger scale programs. The Rapid Response Microloan Program is something that GPCOG launched earlier this year, very much in response to challenges at the onset of the pandemic, modeled very much after a program in the city of Portland. The microloan program represents an opportunity for access to very, very low free capital with forgivable terms and favorable conditions. We're very excited to be partnering with the cities, with the town of Yarmouth and the city of South Portland in very similar loan programs. So if businesses are located in Yarmouth and or South Portland, there's the opportunity to access those resources as well. Next slide, Amy. So today, as I mentioned, it's very exciting to be launching this new partnership with Cumberland County in facilitation of the Community Development Block Grant Program. What's important is that, these are federal funds with both a higher degree of specificity and income eligibility. as well as some forgivable terms, of which Amy's going to be walking through as well. Next slide, Amy. So with that, at a high level overview of the 4 active loan programs with GPCOG, I'm going to hand to Amy to walk through some more specifics and details around eligibility for the New Cumberland County partnership. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Andrew. So as Andrew highlighted, the 4 programs that we have before you are funded with 2 different sources. One is with local funds and the other is with federal funds. Regardless of the source of funds, one of the things that we're going through today are how much funds are available, what are the eligibility, what are the requirements, and is any of the programs provide forgivable loans? And so we're going to go through each of these programs and kind of highlight these specific areas to talk about. And it's a lot of information. All of this information is also on the website. And the important thing to keep in mind is that if you apply, we are going to help you sort and figure out the right program to fit the needs of your business. As we're reviewing, some of the things that we're going to be keeping top of mind is there a need for assistance? And provided this assistance, will the business continue to be viable? So these are kind of the thresholds when we're looking at some of the programs to be funded. And should you apply? This is a question that is probably top of mind. Should I spend my time? Should I sit here and try to understand and apply for this program? So has your business been impacted by COVID-19? Is the business located within Cumberland County with the exception of Portland, Brunswick, or Bridgeton? If you can answer yes to those 2 questions, then I would say yes, it's worth your time to apply. And I'll add the caveat that even if your business is located outside of those direct target areas, you may be eligible for other GPCOG funding, which Andrew highlighted already. So in that sense, you may want to apply and we can try to sort out your needs and find the best product to fit your needs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through each of these programs, highlighting specifically the job program and the microenterprise program, because those are the 2 federally funded programs, and then highlight the rapid response and revolving loan program at the end, just to kind of show you what all the requirements are for all of them. And then we'll take questions at the end. So we'll start with the microenterprise program. So this is a federally funded program. It's funded with Community Development Block Grant Program funds. And there are different terms and funding availability based on this program. So this program provides up to $5,000 per business. The eligibility, there are 2 levels of eligibility for this program. One is the business eligible? And 2, is the owner eligible for assistance? The microenterprise program focuses on the owners as the beneficiary of the program. And so when you're looking at business eligibility, we're looking at number of employees and where the business is located. So in order to be eligible for the microenterprise program, you have to have 5 or fewer employees, including the owner. And your location has to be within that boundary that we discussed earlier, Cumberland County, except Portland, Brunswick, and Bridgeton. There's an owner eligibility as well. The residence of where the owner lives should also be within Cumberland County, except Portland, Brunswick, and Bridgeton. The other thing that Andrew mentioned earlier is income. The income for your household, based on the number of people in your household, creates the threshold for funding. That means community development block grant funds are targeted to low and moderate income people. And so if you qualify as a business owner, you can receive, or you can be eligible for this program. The way that income works in Cumberland County is there are 2 groups of towns. There's a Group A town and there's a Group B town. And depending on where you live, the number of people in your household, the income is different. For example, if you live in Cape Elizabeth and you're one person, you need to earn below $54,950. But if you're in Baldwin in Group B, you have to earn below $43,750. These are 80% of median household income numbers that HUD provides to us. And so these are how these numbers are calculated. There are a few requirements that you have to do in order to qualify for this program. The owner has to provide a proof of income and proof of residency. And then ongoing, they have to provide a statement of ongoing operations. So if you receive this funding, we are going to ask you at 6 months and we're going to ask you at 12 months, how is your business doing? Do you see an increase or decrease in revenue? And do you see an increase and decrease of employees, if you have any employees at all? This is just to ensure that we become a steward of federal funds. And so this is how we ensure that it's a good investment in our businesses. 100% of this program is forgivable, and there's no repayment required as long as you meet the threshold requirements around residency, income, and you use the funds based on how, for eligible purposes. We're actually going to hold the questions to the end. So the next program is also a federal program. It's called the JOB program. This is also a federally funded program. And there are up to $10,000 for this program. The way that this program is situated, so with the microenterprise program, the beneficiary was the business owner. For the JOB program, the beneficiary are the people that you hire, the people you've rehired, or the people you've retained in those jobs. You can get up to $2,500 per job or per employee, up to 4 for this program. The eligibility for is focused on the business here, how many employees you have, and where the business is located. Again, if you have more than 1 employee, you can be eligible for this program. And if you are located within Cumberland County, except for Portland, Brunswick, and Bridgeton. When you hire your employees, you will either have new or rehired employees or maintained employees. And so if you are looking at your employees, there are 2 things that we look at, and it's the same 2 things we looked at with the owners. Where do they live and how much money do they make? So the residency has to be within Cumberland County for new or rehired positions, and their household income has to meet the same income thresholds that I showed you previously. If you are using the funds to maintain employees, you need to ensure that the investment in funds or the money that you need is both necessary for the ongoing employment of those people, and it will help to sustain those employees into the future. For this program, just like the other program, we track your employees for 1 year. So we need proof that without this assistance, those jobs could not be maintained. And then we also need to make sure that the individual that you're maintaining meets the HUD hold thresholds based on where they live. These are the same towns and the same incomes as before. The requirements for this program is a little bit different. Instead of collecting income and residency for the business owner, we want to know how many employees you have. So we want your payroll submission for January, and then your most recent to show how your employment has changed as a result of COVID-19. And then as you're promoting the jobs that you're hiring for, we need to make sure that they are made available to low and moderate income people who are income eligible. And so you need to share with us your job advertisement and where you posted your job advertisement. So these are the beginning requirements. And then there's some ongoing reporting requirements around income verification. So every new or rehired employee has to fill out an income verification form, which includes where do you live, how much money do you make, and the race and ethnicity for everyone in those that you hire. And then we're going to ask you to submit quarterly payrolls for 1 year, which would include the number of people that you are employing and how many hours they work, so whether they're part-time or full-time. And we also ask, if you hire somebody using these funds, if they leave the job, you'll have to let us know, and we'll have to work out a situation on how to address that. Similar to the other program, 100% of these funds are forgivable as long as you meet the requirements of the grant. That means for every, so it's worth $10,000. You can get those $10,000. If you only need to rehire 3 people, then it would be $7,500. So it's $2,500 per job. If you have questions as we go, feel free to type them into the question and answer thing. Tori's going to collect those, and we're going to share all those at the end. So there are 2 other programs that Andrew touched on, both the rapid response and the revolving loan program. And so just touching briefly on the rapid response program, these are local funds, as he suggested earlier. And there are 3 different versions of the microloan program, and depending on which one you apply for or where the business is located, there's a different amount of funds available. So if you're applying to the GPCOG program, there's up to $15,000 available. If you're applying to the South Portland, we believe there's $10,000. And if you're applying to the Yarmouth program, there's up to $5,000. It's my understanding that you can apply for more than one program. However, these are, each town came up with the rules for their own programs based on their desire to have the money stretch further. There's just a few guidelines for this, including the number of employees and where they're located. The programs designed for South Portland and Yarmouth are designed to help the businesses that are located in those towns. There's no application fee. There's a 0.5% commitment fee. There's 0% for 24 months, 6 months deferred, and an 18-month repayment. So these do require a repayment of the funds that this is a loan and you are borrowing the funds. But some of it is forgivable. There's up to 25, I think it's 25%, or up to $2,500 is forgivable for the GPCOG program. And this is in partnership with the Resilience Exchange. And then there's a portion of the funds also forgivable from Yarmouth, and that is depending on the type of business and a few other requirements. And then lastly is the revolving loan fund. The revolving loan fund is for larger programs, up to $250,000 per business. There are several conditions that apply for this. And so you should contact staff directly for more information. This is a program that has existed for some time, and you can find out more information on the website as well. So those are the 4 programs. You might have a few questions, but I want to stress that we're here to help you navigate this process. Federal programs have a lot of rules and regulations that we can help you navigate and find the best program that fits your needs. A lot of us being able to answer your questions results from you filling out the application. And so this helps to provide the basic information that we need in order to help best find the program that fits your needs. I'll just give a very brief overview of what the application is. You can click on it on the website and scroll through and read all the questions before you actually fill it out. But we focus on just 3 things: background information of the business and the business owner, and also your information about how you've been impacted, what information you need to provide to us in order to apply. And then there's a list of additional financial documents that you would need to submit to apply. So the background information focuses on basic information about the business owner, basic information about the business, what impact COVID-19 has had on the business. And then we ask a few questions to determine eligibility, to see which program best fits your needs. We also ask if you've received other CARES funding. You receiving other CARES funding or stimulus funding does not prohibit you from receiving this funding as well. The other part of the application provides information that we need in order for you to move forward. So you can designate a preferred loan program, identify how much funding you're requesting, a planned use for funds. This is your budget, how you plan to use the funds that you receive. And you can specify your hiring or rehiring plan. That's all the information you need to fill out the initial application. Once that's filled out, staff is planning to call you and ask for additional information. We're going to need some financial documents such as your tax returns, your profit and loss documents, your balance sheets. And if it's a new business, a business plan may be required. There's some additional documentation that might also be needed, depending on the program you choose, such as payroll statements or a personal tax return or a personal financial statement. All of this information is already on the website, gpcog.org. You can read about each loan. You can hit apply here. I will note that the City of Portland is launching their next round of funding. And so if you do live in those areas, apply directly to them. And now I'm going to turn it over to Tori to help facilitate some questions and answers.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. And thank you, Amy and Andrew. Thank you, Tom, in the background as well. It looks like we have several questions that have come in. And I actually am going to start over on the phone lines. It looks like we have a question from, oh, never mind. The hand just went down. So just to reiterate, if you have any questions and you are either calling in or you're joining us just through your computer or your phone, feel free to just raise your hand, or you can utilize the Q&A box that we have, either one. If you raise your hand, I'll see it immediately and I'll make sure I get to you. And I will just start in the question and answer box and we can kind of go through this. So it looks like the first question from Keith McBride is for microenterprise loans, can businesses qualify if the owner is not LMI, but the business is located in a district that qualifies as being more than 50% LMI, meeting the area benefit objective? Amy or Andrew, do you feel comfortable answering that?
Hi, Tori, I can answer that.
Perfect.
Hi, Keith. The microenterprise program is really specific about the owner. And so the owner does have to qualify as low to moderate income. If they're in an area of more than 50% and you want to qualify as an area benefit, we'll have to look into how to do that for jobs. These are all limited clientele qualifications, whether it's the owner or the people who apply, the new hires. So the job creation program is really, the job creation program and the microenterprise program are really LMC, not LMAs.
Thank you, Amy. And just to reiterate for all, if you have a question that you want to ask, but you would like, it's more on the personal side, or you just don't want to utilize the Q&A, feel free to send us an email at loans@gpcog.org and we'll make sure that we get that answered for you. So the next question here is from Susan Clow. It looks, the question is, how does the job creation retention program handle seasonal businesses and our dramatic changes in employment? If we qualify, the job creation wouldn't happen until May 2021. How do we prove need? So I'll let either Andrew or Amy answer that one.
Or I can take that one too. Hi, Susan. So the job creation program is really for permanent new hires or retained or rehired positions. And so seasonal jobs don't often qualify because they're not permanent full-time jobs.
Also, just to tack on to that, you know, just to re-emphasize to all on the line, you know, our goal is to be as supportive to businesses in the region as possible. There are a variety of different programs here, which we've just talked through. We don't expect everybody to understand or be familiar with the nuances of each program. That's what we will do, and that's why we've created sort of a singular application for folks to be able to keep it simple and submit their information, and we will work to try to identify the right pool of funds to pull for your business and your needs. So, you know, Susan, to your question, that may be the case with the federal funds, but that's exactly the type of reason why we developed the Rapid Response Program. Which would be a little bit more flexible and probably address some of your timing needs. So the response would be to complete the application, and we will identify the need from there and work with you to find the right set of resources.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So we'll go to the next question from Chris Myers. Chris says, I am both a consultant and the owner of a small business in Gorham. The small business has 3 employees. Can I apply for the microenterprise program for both businesses, assuming I meet all eligibility requirements? Also, my small business is currently participating in the MDOL Workshare program. Is there any conflict with this?
That's a very layered question. I'll take a stab at it. So if you, for your small business where there are 3 less than 5 employees and you meet the income guidelines, you can apply for the microenterprise program. You could also apply for the job creation program. I'm not sure what your consultant program is, if that's another business. It's possible you could qualify for both. We would have to see a little bit more details, and it looks like Andrew wants to jump in here too.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that's a perfect example of, in that level of specificity, we would need to see more of the details, and we would, where possible, we would like to be able to stack resources appropriately. So perhaps your small business is a good fit for retaining employees, and that's a good fit for the job creation, and your consulting business is a good fit for the microenterprise, hypothetically speaking. That would, your application will allow us to get a sense of what's the right kind of fit. And Amy, I'll hand to you for the MDOL Workshare conflict. My immediate reaction is that there's not a conflict, but Amy, you may have different perspective on that.
We would, the conflict of interest, it's not a conflict of interest. The main lens that we look at for multiple federal resources is that you're not using 2 sources of federal resources to pay for the same thing. So you can use 2 sources of federal resources to pay for rent, but they can't both pay for July rent. And so we would just have to know a little bit. I'm not too familiar with the Workshare program, so we would just have to look and see what that benefit is to your program. And if you do have 2 businesses, because some people do, it would be good to put 2 applications in.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy and Andrew and Chris. Again, to reiterate, please go to our website and fill out an application. That way we have your information and can kind of review a little bit more. And any questions that you have in the meantime, feel free to email us at loans@gpcog.org. The next question, a little bit similar to one that was asked, but I'll go ahead and ask it again just to kind of reiterate this question. It says, as a small seasonal farm business, we let our employees go at the end of October and rehire them in April. Our season usually slows way down in November and our cash flow dries up, making it difficult to keep on our full-time seasonal employees. In the past, we've not had anyone on payroll in January. We could definitely continue to use the help, and I know our employees would benefit from continued work. Is our seasonal farm business eligible for this program?
So, so I'll caveat all the seasonal comments on seasonal work as you may not, the job creation program may not be a perfect fit, but the microenterprise program might fit. Because if you are eligible, you might be able to receive some funding for your program just based on yourself, and you can use that however you see fit within your business.
All right, we will go to Kathy DeFilippo, and I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. The question is, I'm seeking funding for a nonprofit in South Portland. The South Portland Municipal Program excludes nonprofits. Are any of these programs through GPCOG open to nonprofits?
Hi, Kathy. Unfortunately, the same programs that are offered in South Portland are the same rules that apply to this program as well, which the job creation and the microenterprise program do not apply to nonprofit organizations, unfortunately. That said,
that said, Amy, I'm sensing a pattern in our responses. That said, the rapid response microloan does represent a available set of resources for nonprofits. So we are encouraging nonprofits to apply. Certainly they are critical businesses and institutions in the region. Rapid response is designed to be able to provide that kind of flexibility and support. So again, it's a singular application. Nonprofit would be identified, flagged, and we would sort and manage through the rapid response program.
Thank you. And that actually answers Katie Manter's question as well, which was also about which loan programs are nonprofits eligible for. So again, Katie, our rapid response microloan would be great. And we really encourage you to go to our website and complete an application. Mm-hmm. The next question is coming in anonymous. It says, does the income threshold for a family include both your own income plus your spouse's income through a different business?
I'm just sorry for the scrolling, but I wanted to show you the way that this works. So income is determined by household size, which includes everybody lives within your household. So whether it's a parent and 3 kids, whether it's 2 parents and 2 kids, whether it's 4 adults, or whatever the combination is. If there are 4 people in your household, then if you are in one of these towns, you have to earn below 78.5. That's the way it works. It counts everybody within your household.
Thank you. We will go to Kate Holcomb. This looks like a question for you, Andrew. It says, could you please explain what's involved with the resilience exchange and the forgivable loan associated with it?
All right, Kate, thanks so much for asking that question. Virtual high five to you. We are trying to incentivize businesses to both adapt and to think about creative ways of accessing new markets and supporting the community at large. The Resilience Exchange is one way businesses can do that. We ask that businesses sign up for a very quick survey to identify how some of their services might address community need. And then we will work with the business to identify a way in which that business can address some kind of community need or increase awareness around how operations have adapted. Just as a very quick example, earlier this year, we made a rapid response microloan to the restaurant Rivalries based upon their demonstrated need and business viability. And also, given their work in the Feeding the Frontline program, where they prepared meals for frontline healthcare workers, and their willingness to share information about the microloan program and around sort of their work in enabling a higher degree of regional resilience. So for that, we were able to make a $10,000 loan to Rivalries, and in it identify $2,500 forgiveness of that loan based upon their adaptation of the business and the support of community need, ultimately a degree of community resilience. So that's a little bit around the resilience exchange for businesses that apply to the and identify that as an interest. We will follow up and craft the right fit of a resilience exchange with you and your business to identify the forgivable terms.
Thank you, Andrew. And it looks like we have a final question from an anonymous attendee. It says, for the microenterprise loan, what are the eligible purposes for the forgiveness? And I don't know if Andrew or Amy, you want to touch on that a little bit more before we go forward.
So the funding for the microenterprise is, so basically what we do when we talk about what you need is that what are the expenses that you need in order to continue operating? And so as long as you can outline what those needs are and how you would spend those funds to continue operating, it would likely be eligible. You can't do new construction, you can't do a couple things that the program prohibits, but as long as it's for operations of your business, most things are eligible, but we would just have to talk about the specific needs that you have.
Thank you, Amy. It looks like we have gotten through all the questions in the, I spoke too soon, a question just popped up. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it. It's from Marcel Selimani. He says, my name is Marcel. My friend Matthew and I own an LLC company. We invested our funds in the first part of having samples of clothing for our apparel and merchandise company. We were planning to apply for some funds so that we could launch the production this fall, but with the pandemic, we couldn't get the funds. Are we qualified to apply?
It's, Amy, I'll take first pass there. Thanks, Marcel. It's possible that you could be eligible. And maybe you're a good fit for the rapid response program. Maybe you're a good fit for the revolving loan program. With your application, we get a better sense of your both eligibility and viability of the business, and make a determination and coordinate with you from there. For the type of need that you've identified, it's probably something that is more of a fit for our revolving loan, which is the legacy loan program at GPCOG. It's the first one that was listed and one that Amy spoke through earlier. Probably access to a higher scale of funds with, there's no forgivable terms at that level. But we would need to do an evaluation of your business viability and your location, and where possible, look to see if there's a fit for any of the other programs. So step one would be for you to submit an application at gpcog.org, and this bar in the bottom right of the screen is the banner of the homepage at GPCOG, and we're trying to make it as easy as possible just for folks to go directly to the loan page and apply there. Marcel, we look forward to seeing your information.
Thank you, Andrew. And again, now it looks like we have gone through all of the Q&A. I don't see any hands up either. So I mean, we can definitely wait a couple of minutes. But again, if you have any questions and you don't want to ask here, feel free to send us an email at loans@gpcog.org. And really to convey what Andrew and Amy have been saying, if you're unsure, just fill out an application and we will read over what the information is that you have and we'll make sure that we're in touch with you. If you're looking at these programs and you're not exactly sure whether or not it would be a fit, the best step is just to go forward and fill out that application. We will look the information over and be in touch with you, like I said, and figure out what is a good fit for you. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that point because I know there's a lot of what ifs happening, but you know, we want to make it as easy as possible. And the first step is just going to our website, taking a few minutes to provide some information and then letting us kind of take over from there. So I don't see any other questions coming in. So Amy and Andrew, I don't know if you have any last words you would like to share.
Yeah, I think the last thing I'll say, unless Amy, you have any other comments? We certainly, we recognize this is a pretty challenging time for small businesses in the region. One of the things GPCOG is responsible for is helping set and support strategic economic development strategy for the region. And we have a really diverse region. And so we're very excited to be partnering with Cumberland County on the Community Development Block Grant Program. And feel like this is an important set of resources to help some of the smallest businesses in the region. We have a lot of diverse needs among our businesses, and we know it's a tricky time. We want this program to be flexible. We will be learning and adapting as we go and working with businesses to be able to provide maximum level of support. And it's exciting to be able to partner with the town of Yarmouth and the city of South Portland on their microloan programs. So again, our job is to try to find the best fit for businesses that apply. And the application provides us with the right amount of information to be able to follow up with you, the businesses, and to be able to coordinate with Cumberland County, City of Portland, City of South Portland, Town of Yarmouth, and all the other towns in the greater Portland region. So I really appreciate everyone joining us for today. As mentioned here, we're responding to inquiries at loans@gpcog.org. We're trying to be as fast as possible in responding to questions and as fast as possible in responding to applications. So thanks everybody for joining us today. Thank you, Tori and Tom, for a great production. Amy, thank you so much for your excellent work in standing up this program. And we're looking forward to seeing what questions and applications come in.
Thanks all.